following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome in to Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, alongside Mo Patton, who is so close. Look.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what you can do when you've got a little bit of room to kind of set things up like you need to. So,
I see a nice little vinyl collection behind your head there.
There is a nice little vinyl collection behind my head. Yeah, it's we are still in Michigan. We're going to be here until midday Sunday, and we are at Jody's oldest son Robert's house, and in one of the many rooms in this 100-year-old house. But lots of vinyl. It's pretty cool.
Do you think there's ghosts there, Mo?
I've not seen any, so we're if I don't see them or hear them, then I don't care if they're here or not. So
there you go.
No, they don't bother me. I won't bother them.
We'll the same way with spiders.
Yep.
That's exactly right. I don't care if there are spiders here as long as I don't see them.
Like if I see them in the web, they're chilling in the middle, I'll go talk to them. I'm like, hey, look, I see you, you see me. I'm not gonna go over there and mess your web up. That looks like it took a long time.
I feel different about spiders. If they're in my living area, they got to go. Now outside, then they can chill, do whatever they want to. But if they're where we can't coexist.
If I know they're there.
Yeah.
I think if we were able to interview a spider, they would agree.
Yeah.
Because they're just as scared as we are, right? They're more scared of us than we are of them.
They probably are. they should be. I
think a person came up with that though, but that's okay. That's okay. We can choose to believe it. By the way, Mo, that hat is sick. I really like that. I like that hat a lot.
Thanks.
So Sarah has that hat. She loves it. She
probably looks better on Sarah.
She wears it all the time. It's her favorite hat. She will not wear any other hat. So, I feel you there. Hey, we've got a lot to get to today and a great show. Ron Higgins is going to join us here in just a few moments as we talk LSU, Tennessee. We're going to talk, obviously, every game in the SEC. We'll talk about each and every one of them, whether they're in our pick'em or we get to them in the third segment, or whenever. We're going to get to them all. And then we'll talk Titans here as well, and we'll give you our picks against the spread in the final segment of the day. As we always do, we will not.
And we would strongly suggest after our performance from last week that whatever we give you, take the opposite.
Do the opposite.
I was going to say, I wasn't able to make Monday's show. How did we do?
Well, we don't normally give that information out until Friday, so you'll find out.
Oh, are you talking about, okay, from last week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We always just go through the record on Friday, so.
Judging by Mo's reaction, though, it doesn't sound like it's going to be good.
Some of us it is. For others, it's not.
We'll talk about it here in a bit, Justin. Patience, grasshopper.
Right. That's right. Patience, grasshopper. But before we do anything else, we do need to get to yesterday's results and the weekend schedule, and we do that on the rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
High school football action last night. Cane Ridge 21-12 winners over John Overton. It was Northeast getting a 62-55 win over Father Ryan.
Chris, that sounds straight out of arena ball. You would have enjoyed that one.
I would have very much enjoyed that. Nashville Christian 49-19 over Northwest. It was CPA in the upset of the century right now. 35-14 over Oakland. Kevin Creasy's first loss to a Middle Tennessee team. That's insane.
At Oakland.
While at Oakland, sorry. East Nashville 43-8 winners over Maplewood. Hillwood defeated Glencliff 50-9, and McGavick 48-20 over Antioch.
Also, defending Class 4A state champions Tullahoma with a 31-0 win over Montgomery Central. Lebanon knocks off Mount Juliet at Mount Juliet 27-6. It was Davidson Academy on the road 49, North Point Christian 20. Pearl-Combe with a comeback 35-23 win over Marshall County. Rossview defeated Kenwood 22-14. Franklin Road Academy continues to roll 55-18 over Stratford, and Clarksville with a 30-14 win over West Creek. In volleyball action yesterday, it was Father Ryan sweeping Harpeth Hall 3-0. BGA with a 3-1 win over Goodpasture, and Providence Christian in 5 games sets defeats Middle Tennessee Christian 3-2.
Girls soccer action was Brentwood Academy shutting out St. Cecilia 6-0. Davidson Academy 4-1 winners over Middle Tennessee Christian. Father Ryan 3, Harpeth Hall 1, Liberty Creek downs Cheatham County 9-1. Murfreesboro Central an 8-1 winner over Lawrence County. CPA edges Nashville Christian 1-0. It was Page 7, Marshall County 0. Watertown 5-1 winners over Cannon County. And last night in NFL action, we told you. Go somewhere else. The Colts defeated the Broncos 12-9 in overtime.
We did tell you to go somewhere else. Football tonight, go somewhere else. Providence Christian is at Grace Baptist out of Chattanooga. That's a 6:30 kick. All these other games will be at 7 o'clock unless otherwise noted. Springfield at Beach. Battleground Academy takes on visiting Republic. Franklin is at Brentwood. Cornerstone Christian of Ohio is at Brentwood Academy. Centennial hosts Ravenwood. Richland goes to Collinwood. Creekwood hosts Greenbrier. Montgomery Bell Academy is at Ensworth. Chattanooga Prep travels to Ezel Harding. Fairview hosts Camden Central. Columbia Central goes to the Brickyard to take on the Bobcats of Giles County. It's Watertown at Harpeth. Hendersonville hosting Shelbyville. Green Hill travels to Hunters Lane, and Independence faces visiting Summit.
Cascade is at Joe Burns, while Liberty Creek plays host to Crittenden County, Kentucky. That's a lot. Knoxville Catholic is at Lipscomb Academy. Loretto's at home against Moore County, while Mount Juliet Christian plays host to Self Creek. While Cheatham County's at Sycamore. Cannon County and the Tennessee Heat will play tonight. I don't know where. Hillsboro is at White County. Waverly is at White House Heritage. Wilson Central's at home against Station Camp. And Grace Franklin at 7:30 tonight will host Clarksville Academy.
College football action this weekend. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, it's breakfast with the Volunteers as they travel to Baton Rouge for a matchup with LSU. Again, that game's at 11 o'clock Central. It's on ESPN. At 2:30, Middle Tennessee State plays at Alabama Birmingham. At 3 o'clock on the SEC Network, Ole Miss comes to First Bank Stadium to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. At 5 o'clock on ESPN Plus, Bethune-Cookman faces Tennessee State. It's homecoming. That game is at Nissan Stadium. And at 4 o'clock tomorrow in Lebanon, Campbellsville takes on host Cumberland. Sunday NFL action. The Tennessee Titans continue their road swing. They are at the Washington Commanders. That game is at noon on CBS. And at 4 o'clock on Sunday, Nashville SC is at LAFC. Again, that's a 4 o'clock first touch. And Chris, I don't know if you noticed, but apparently I'm Anonymous Bat today, not Dumbo Octopus.
You're not a Dumbo Octopus today, but a bat, an anonymous bat. The only other anonymous bat I know is Batman.
No.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a really good one.
That is your rundown.
Justin, do you know how Batman's mom tells him it's time to eat?
How is that?
Dinner, Batman. No?
He's hanging out in that cave. He's probably yelling up for Hot Pockets.
Ma, the meatloaf.
What is she doing? What is she doing?
You know.
You are really embracing the dad part of dad jokes a bit too much, Mr. Yao. I know you got another one to get ready for now, but this.
I think I'm going to go the opposite way and say I think you need to step it up on it.
You need more. I need more. I need more dad jokes.
Dad joke.
Well, just more dad in them.
Oh, okay. Our top story today, you just heard it in the rundown. CPA upset of the season, certainly. I mean, at first, you thought Alcoa over Maryville might be a big upset, and Cleveland over Maryville might be close, as it was Maryville's first region loss since 2000. But this one, nobody saw coming.
First loss for Oakland, period, since November 29th of 2019, when they lost to Maryville at Maryville in the Class 6A state semifinals. They'd won 36 since then, going 15-0 in 2000, 15-0. No, that's not right. Yeah, 15-0 in 2000 and 2021, and then getting off to a 6-0 start this year before this loss. So,
did
like
they play
said,
15 games in COVID?
They did, because if you'll recall, they picked up CPA and Lipscomb that year to. Well, let's see. They did not. They did not play Blackman, but they were awarded a 1-0 win because that was in region play.
That's right.
And I misspoke. That was the 2020 season that you're referring to there. It was last season, 2021, that they picked up both Lipscomb and CPA.
They had to replace who had to replace Bishop Gorman?
I don't remember.
Exactly. There was just a lot that went into that. But so they played 14 games, but they were awarded the 15th win. So,
and that was the case last season as well, because their game against Stewart's Creek was not played, but they were awarded a 1-0 victory in that one as well. So officially, I guess they had actually played 14 games each of those two seasons.
And their last loss was to Maryville?
Mm-hmm. In the 2019 semis. Yep.
CPA and Ingle Martin, man. You know what? Emily Spears is angry right now because she said, I would have called that.
I'm kind of surprised she didn't. She took Oakland?
It wasn't in the pick'em.
Oh, that. That makes me feel better, because I figured we had all missed it, except Emily.
Except Emily,
because she would have picked that one.
No, I was going to tweet it. I was like, I bet Emily Spears is riding high today, and then I went to look to see if she'd. So I was going to screenshot that she had picked them, and I realized that it wasn't in the pick'em. I was like, well, darn.
Well, heck, sorry, Emily. Better look next time. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, and that wasn't the only crazy game we had. Just craziness last night. Cane Ridge comes back to beat John Overton. Pearl Cone with a blocked field goal return for a touchdown that lifted them over Marshall County. Just a crazy night for high school football in Middle Tennessee, but it was a lot of fun. If you missed it, man, hate it for you.
And if you missed it for Colts Broncos, I really hate it for you.
No doubt. Well, that's our top story for the day. We've got Ron Higgins set to join us here on the other side of a break. So please stick around with us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll take a quick break. Ron Higgins right after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, While we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton coming to you here on this Friday edition, October 7th. Getting ready for a great weekend of college football coming to you all weekend long. Obviously, the Titans as well on Sunday. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll get into all of that and much more. But first, Mo, we can't talk enough about this next football game because it is probably the biggest football game of the season to this point, at least for the Tennessee Volunteers, and that is their trip to Baton Rouge, where they will take on LSU at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Huge game, and to talk about it, we have a longtime LSU beat writer and apparently fan of the Savannah Bananas, Ron Higgins, joining us here. Ron, what's going on?
That is a sweet lid.
I love wacky hats, and then when I saw an angry banana with a baseball bat looking for that first pitch and knock over the fence, I had to get it. My wife hates this hat, which makes me love it all the more. So,
but have you worn it on any cruises recently?
yeah, I have worn it on a cruise. I got a cruise coming up in open date week of Alabama. My once every 2 months cruise is coming up in a couple of about 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll wear it on there, but I like to break it out and wear it. It's as soon as I saw this cap, I knew I had to have it. It's like I have a decent amount of caps, but I really like another one I want to get is the it's a Houston Astros affiliate, the Space Cowboys. It's a strange looking hat too. Named after the Steve Miller Space Cowboy. You know, I mean, I wonder if they have a mascot named Maurice. You know,
if they don't, they should.
They should.
Absolutely.
Wow.
There we go. Ron, 11 o'clock tomorrow, as opposed to 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Tennessee steps into Tiger Stadium to take on the Bayou Bengals. And we talked about this since this kickoff was announced. That might be the first advantage Tennessee has in this ball game right there.
Well, you would think it is, but LSU's won their last 8 games before noon. And last year they beat Florida in Tiger Stadium. Florida was ranked number 20. They beat them. LSU's best game of the year, actually. They won 49-42. So the only disadvantage, people think it's a disadvantage because they think LSU fans will show up. Now, might be advantages. They may not be as drunk as they'd like to be at that time. They have to adjust their drinking time to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Notice he said they might not be as drunk.
Yeah.
Which means they may be.
but they'll be there and they'll be loud. I know people think it's a huge disadvantage to play LSU at night in Tiger Stadium. And it is, because you know, those games you can't see the things being thrown at you. Daytime you can dodge them. But honestly, I mean, I just think LSU fans don't like it, but you know, tough. You know, until you get a better team where you can get a better TV date. I mean, the time. That's the way it is. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this game should be one of the CBS games. I can't. You know, they went with Georgia Auburn. Huh? What? I mean, yeah. I mean, you're looking at a pissed off Georgia team for playing so bad against an Auburn team that can't find a quarterback who can play, and it's just dysfunctional as all get out. So that's going to be a fun game to watch. They're counting on it and being an SEC traditional game that they played forever. I think Georgia's pretty angry the way it's been playing. I would imagine they would come out and just kill them. But Tennessee, LSU is going to be a good game. I don't know if I agree with the 3-point line. I think it's a bit low. But I think LSU has to do a lot of things to win this game right. A lot of things.
Well, it's interesting, Ron. You touched on the Auburn quarterback situation. Is there a quarterback situation with LSU coming into this game? Is it Jaden Daniels getting the start tomorrow, or is it, you know, someone else?
That's Jaden Daniels. He'll be. He's ready to roll. He'll be there. Got a little banged up last week, but he's ready to roll. And you know, the only situation with Jaden Daniels is they got to get him to throw the ball downfield. He just he's still reluctant to throw the ball downfield and trust his receivers consistently, and it's becoming a problem. He's only averaging like about 7 or 8 yards of completion. I mean, he's completing a high percentage, and he's thrown 6 touchdowns and interceptions, but he won't throw the ball into any risky area, and he's got and LSU's got as good a receivers as are in college football as a group, and he needs to get it to everybody and throw it downfield. And there's a reluctance because he's so damn fast, and he can get 15 and 20 yards in the blink. This is the fastest quarterback LSU will play this year. He's even faster than Anthony Richardson. I mean, this guy can motor. I mean, he can absolutely motor. But because of that, he knows he can do that. He has a tendency to like kind of bail a pocket a little too early, or he holds the ball too long, waiting for a receiver to break open. But there's open people. He just I don't know about his field of vision. It seems to me. I mean, for LSU fans, they think it's it can be coached out of him, and maybe they can. But here's a guy. I mean, he's now started 34 college games, 29 at Arizona State, 5 at LSU. And they're still trying to get him to throw the ball downfield, and that's a concern. And they got to figure out somehow to balance their offense out. And obviously, it's Tennessee's weak point. I mean, Tennessee gave up like 8 plays of 20 yards or more to Florida. All of them were passes. So this would fit right into Tennessee's soft spot if the guy would actually throw downfield. And I mean, honestly, LSU's won games because of its defense. His defense has been outstanding. His defense has kept LSU in games until the offense woke up. When the offense wakes up, it'll run off 3 or 4 scoring drives in a row, but it's got to wake up. But the problem is, it takes 5 or 6 series, 7 series for this offense to get going. But the defense has kept these games 1-possession games and played really well.
That's not something you can plan on with this Tennessee offense, though.
No, not at all. I mean, they understand what they're getting into. They understand how quickly Tennessee runs plays. They get it. And I don't. They shut down State's quarterback pretty well, but he's a guy that if you make him move, he really can't make plays. Hendon Hooker, you make him move, he can make plays. And they would like to make him move and hope he'd be uncomfortable, but he makes plays on the move. So that may be tough for LSU to try to get him off course, or just upset his rhythm, upset his receivers' rhythm. That's their only hope against Tennessee's offense is trying to upset some rhythm and create some turnovers. LSU leads the SEC in turnovers created, and they pressure pretty good on the pass rush. They stop the run pretty well. They're defensively they're pretty solid, but again, they haven't played anybody like Tennessee. With Tennessee's quarterback and their amount of weapons, and so it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting matchup. LSU's defensive coordinator has had pretty good plans this year for games. One of the things LSU does really well is it disguises defenses unbelievably well. It'll give a quarterback a pre-snap look, and as the play changes, they'll change to a different defense. And that's been one of LSU's best allies defensively is really good defensive game plans, trying to confuse quarterbacks into thinking there's one coverage and it's another coverage.
Speaking with Ron Higgins here of TigerDetails.com, longtime LSU beat writer. And you talk about this defense. Obviously, they're missing some guys that they would love to have out there, season-ending injuries early this season. They've had a lot of guys step up and make, kind of next man up mentality. Is that how has that affected this defense? Obviously, like you said, they've been really good, but it's also not the best defense they could have out there.
Well, their best defensive lineman got hurt in the first game of the year, like the first half, and the guy they put him in for him has been rated by Pro Football Focus as the highest rated defensive lineman in the league this year so far.
You'll take that.
Missouri transfer Mokai Wingo has been outstanding. The secondary they haven't had too many problems with secondary. They had one safety get hurt in the secondary, but he's hurt and he's probably out for a while. But they picked up Joe Fouche from Arkansas, who was finally eligible. He had some eligibility problems when he transferred. He played his first game last week. And that was a reason probably for some of the communication bust last week. It was his first game and communication wasn't great. But LSU secondary has held up despite the fact 5 of its 6 top cornerbacks are transfers from last year. They got guys from Oklahoma State, guys from Louisiana Lafayette, guy from Ohio State who's out right now, but he had a concussion last week. They have all kinds of transfers. Brian Kelly went. Signed 13 or 14 transfers, and it wasn't his plan. It's not his plan every year to do that. But LSU needed some bodies in a hurry because they were down to like 37 scholarship athletes at the end of last season in the bowl game, and he wanted to. There's some areas that needed some immediate help, and so he went and got guys who were pretty good football players and stuck them in there. So they got, I'd say, 3 or 4 transfers starting. Offense probably has a couple. Offense has two of LSU's offensive linemen are true freshmen starting. So again, a lot of things have to go right for LSU to be competitive, and they'll be competitive in this game. I just don't think they can hold Tennessee, down the entire game. It might disrupt them for a half, maybe, but I just think Tennessee's pace of play will probably wear LSU down a little bit. Even though LSU, I got to give them credit, physically, their conditioning has been unbelievable. They've gotten better as games have gone along, especially their defense. They've done a good job of subbing guys in, but they're pretty thin offensive and defensive line. But their conditioning has been pretty good. But again, you hadn't faced a team like this where they snap the ball, with 20 seconds left on the play clock every time.
Ron Higgins from TigerDetail.com joining us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Ron, how close would you call this one? I mean, do you think LSU can hold up and make it a one-possession game late and give themselves a chance, or do you think Tennessee and that, like you said, their pace of play just kind of pulls them away as this thing goes on?
At first, earlier this week, I thought that Tennessee would probably destroy them, give like a double-digit game. Now I'm thinking, every time you think that and you look at the point spread and say, man, it's way too low. Somehow those guys in Vegas are always right.
Never fails.
I mean, it's like, you have money on a game, you watch it, you're like, all right, I got this. And then something nutty happens, and it's like right on the point spread. I think Tennessee wins by 4. I could see 31-27, something like that. Yeah, 31. I mean, they should win. I think, but LSU's going to make it interesting. I really believe they'll make it interesting. To me, I've never seen. I mean, you always say, games are, quarterbacks are important games. That's that kind of dumb statement. I mean, this game is really, really, really true because LSU's got to figure out a way to kind of get, Hooker off track, out of rhythm. And then LSU's quarterback has got to make some plays and throw the ball downfield and not hold the ball too long or not hit open receivers or take chances. I mean, Brian Kelly's to the point of you've got to take chances. You got to throw the ball downfield. If somebody makes a play and intercepts it, they make a play and intercept it. But we got to be more aggressive than what we're doing. And so, I mean, I like Brian Kelly a lot. He's he's a realist. He calls LSU. He goes. We have a modest win streak, and we play gritty and we play tough. We play hard. But playing gritty and tough and hard is not going to beat Tennessee. It's not going to beat Florida. It's not going to beat Ole Miss. It's not going to beat Alabama. And he's right about that because we got to go out and make plays offensively and have an aggressive offense to win these games. And I guess that's why I like Kelly a lot here. He reminds me of Saban a lot in that sense. He's a no BS guy. He's not doesn't get off on rants like Nick does, but you ask him a question, he gives you an answer. I mean, it's a pretty good answer. And he's honest about stuff. He doesn't hide injuries. He doesn't. I mean, if he knows somebody's out, he's going to tell you he's out. He doesn't hide. He's been really good to work with. Very professional about the way he approaches stuff. The players like him. They have confidence in him, and he understands. He's still learning his football team. This team's a work in progress. When you have so many new pieces going on, you got a quarterback, from Arizona State who is a great athlete, but he's working in a different offense, and they're trying to get him to do some things he might not be comfortable with. It's all a work in progress, and that's why, Tennessee is less of a work in progress than LSU. And I guess that's why I like Tennessee in this game.
Ron, as always, it is an absolute pleasure. We never fail to get enough information to know exactly what we're getting into, and you are a plethora of it, and we appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I always appreciate it, being with y'all, especially the legend, Mo. Mo, you need one of these caps. I'm telling you.
I absolutely need one of those caps.
Hopefully we can get you one next summer.
Well, no, I'm not going to wait. I'm probably going to the SavannahBananas.com here before the end of the day.
And they ship it in this great box. It's like this big yellow box.
Oh, I can't wait.
There's a banana on it. It's awesome.
That's fantastic. Something extra to look forward to. Ron, we appreciate it, man.
The box, I like it so much.
There you go. Hey, get some sleep because you got an early day tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's 11 o'clock. But it's not too bad in Baton Rouge. We get up early here to look at the humidity outside, but it's gonna be nice weather tomorrow.
And you can actually see the humidity in Baton Rouge. It is visible there.
You can. All right, Mo. See y'all.
Hey, Ron, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you.
Oh man, that's so great. Ron Higgins.
Look at the humidity. I like that.
And he's so right. He is so right. You can literally see it.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about every other SEC game. And so stick around here. Main Street Sports Show presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint is back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @MS_sports today. You can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Roku, Apple, Fire Stick, all of those, and your mobile app. If you have an iOS phone, you can download the iOS app, Main Street Media TV, and yeah, watch it live. It's always fun. Mo want to get into the SEC weekend that is ahead. Now, games that we do have in our pick'em include Auburn, Georgia, TAMU, and Bama. We obviously just talked about LSU and Tennessee, but I do want to get your thoughts on this one. Obviously, this is a interesting ball game with Tennessee being a 2.5-point favorite right now, according to I believe that's BetM. That's a consensus. There you go. Caesars Sportsbook. There is the ESPN FPI has LSU with a 58.3% chance of winning.
Okay, so ESPN thinks they know something that Vegas doesn't, then, or what? Or is just, 2.5 on the road is
technically a half point. That's what, 5 points, 5.5.
Yeah.
It's nearly a touchdown favorite technically.
Right.
I think this is going to be an interesting ballgame. Tennessee going on the road into what's going to be a much more hostile environment than they had in Pittsburgh, no question. But
well, it's going to be a much more hostile environment than they had in Pittsburgh, but they are going to be pretty well represented down there as well. It sounds like a lot of folks kind of took the fall break weekend and headed south. So
I saw a guy, and I don't know, on Snapchat, there is a map option where all the people that you follow who have their location turned on. And his entire map was just people traveling I-75 south. Like you could see an entire line. It just went from Chattanooga all the way down, like through Auburn and Montgomery on their way. It was insane how many people that were traveling down there. Now, I don't know if all of those have tickets, but I know Tennessee sold out their allotment very easily. Mm-hmm. I'll be curious to see how much orange is in the stadium at 11 o'clock on Saturday. 2.5-point favorites are the Vols. It'd be hard for me to take LSU in this, but also, could Tennessee be looking ahead?
I don't think this is a team that really gets caught up in looking ahead. I mean, I think for where a lot of this team has been, I think focusing on the game directly in front of them has pretty much been their modus operandi. I don't see looking ahead for them as an issue.
I would agree with you. I would definitely agree with you. I think Tennessee wins this ball game, and if the line's 2.5, I'm taking the Vols.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're not going to win by 1
or 2. Yeah, yeah. I don't think a safety is going to decide this. Yeah, yeah. I think they win this game and cover.
Arkansas at Mississippi State, also 11 o'clock on SEC Network. Mississippi State, according to Caesars, is a 9-point favorite in this. And I don't think there's any way.
Tell me again, who's a 9-point favorite? I'm sorry, I got distracted. Mississippi State is a 9-point favorite. I mean, I just feel like Arkansas really feels a need to redeem themselves from this past weekend in Alabama. I think a lot of people, including us, expected that game to be closer than it was. It
was a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter. Now, Alabama did what they do and pulled away, even
as Justin told us they would, by the way.
Yes, he did.
I heard I was right about something.
Alabama, Arkansas.
We don't want to talk about it.
No, we really don't. But I did want to give credit where credit was due, because he did say that.
And that's exactly what he said, and that's exactly what they did. It was a close game in the fourth quarter. Alabama, even with quarterback,
and then Alabama did what they do. So
did what they do.
Yeah. So, but I don't think Mississippi State is Alabama.
No, look, Arkansas does have a tendency to give up a lot of points late, especially in the passing game. Just look at Spencer Rattler, and if there's a quarterback in the SEC West who can do it, it's definitely Mississippi State and,
is he good?
And Will Rogers. No.
Okay, thank you. I thought he was overhyped on that Netflix special, so I'm still on that train. But I didn't know if maybe I just don't know enough.
I like that question. Is he good?
Right, just straight up, are you good? I mean, Will Rogers is in this offense, in the offense that he is running under Mike Leach. I mean, 19 touchdowns, 3 picks. It's hard to be better and more efficient in an air raid offense. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if we're looking at this Arkansas defense is pretty bad, but I don't think it's a 9-point game, because I don't think Mississippi State can stop KJ Jefferson.
Among other people. I mean, the running game is not bad, and the tight end
Sanders, is phenomenal.
The tight end who Trey Knox played at Blackman, I believe. He slid out or slid in, I guess. He was a receiver. He was signed as a receiver, but he's been a playmaker for them at the tight end position. And if you don't account for him on a regular basis, he can hurt you. So, yeah, Mississippi State by 9 is a lot. I mean, I would take Arkansas all day on that, I think. And probably to win the game outright.
I think they very well could. This next game, also at 11 o'clock, is certainly on the channel it should be on. Missouri at Florida, ESPNU.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
But you know what? I'm not going to slander Missouri too much after what they did this past weekend at home against Georgia. I mean, now was that Missouri or was that Georgia? I don't really know. But that was a 3-point. That was a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. So,
but the week before that, didn't they almost upset somebody? Right? They went
if you want to call beating Auburn an upset.
Well, now that they're 0-4, I guess no, that's not an upset. But at the time, they really screwed that up as well. Mizzou did.
They really did. I mean, a 32-yard field goal to win it, and you miss it. I mean, how do you miss that? And then you fumble going in to win the game.
Oh,
Fumble going into the end
last
zone.
the inch.
Like
So-
literally. So yeah, Missouri definitely lost that game. Auburn did not win it. I don't know. I mean, obviously Florida took care of business last week against Eastern Washington. I feel like they should take care of business this week. They're an 11-point favorite at home. I mean,
you feel like Florida should win this ball game. You feel like they should cover. I mean, I like I said, I don't know. I didn't get to see the game between Missouri and Georgia. I was a little bit busy, but
No excuse, Mo. I'm just kidding.
I just don't know how Missouri keeps us closer than 2 touchdowns in Gainesville.
that's me.
agree
Auburn,
with that.
Georgia is in our pick 'em. We'll talk about that later. Ole Miss, number 9 at Vanderbilt, 3:00 SEC Network. Vanderbilt has a 10.4% chance to win according to the FPI, which means you're telling me there's a chance.
What's the spread on that one?
17.
That's that's such a good spread, and that's a really tough one.
It would be hard to bet this game.
Yeah, the best thing for me to do would be to leave this one alone, I believe.
Yeah.
But Vanderbilt has a tendency to play Ole Miss close at times, man.
Clark Lee, man, he's
Now I don't know if that's been the case as much since Lane got to Oxford, but traditionally Vanderbilt has played Ole Miss close. Now,
Can we talk? We could probably talk about it later, whenever y'all want to, whenever you're ready. But me saying that Ole Miss might win that game last week outright, we'll talk about it later. But I just wanted to put that in.
Well,
this guy's getting a little cocky, Chris.
well, you know what? But you can do it if you back it up. And he,
that's true.
I mean, at least head to head with us, he backed it up. So,
That is true.
so there's that. And they
on
did. They're coming off a win against Kentucky, and you're coming up to Nashville, where you're probably going to have a decent crowd on hand. I don't know if they'll have a decent crowd. The way that Ole Miss's crowd has gone at home this year, they may not travel much at all.
Have they not been having a deep student section lately?
Apparently not, according to Lane Kiffin, who ran roughshod over their home attendance, basically saying they'd rather be drinking in the Grove than be in the stadium.
I heard about that, which is
Understandable.
I was about to
say, and you know what? I'm not mad at Ole Miss fans. I'm just gonna
they may want to make it to the game. They just physically probably can't.
I mean, let's be honest here. The worst place to put either an Ole Miss fan or an LSU fan is Nashville.
It's true. Very true.
Like, the only other place that you don't want to have them in your, as a fan base in the SEC would be in Nashville. So it'd be tough. We'll see. But yeah, Ole Miss at 17, I'd just stay away from that one. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, if I was actually betting money, I wouldn't. I don't know which Vandy shows up particularly offensively. I mean, for that reason, if forced, I would probably take Ole Miss to cover, but not. This is a danger Will Robinson type game right here. Huh?
This may not have no bearing on the game at all, but I think there's like some Lane Kiffin fans in Tennessee,
Sure.
more than you would think. Like actually fans of him, even though
there are a lot of people who are fans of Lane Kiffin and would have gladly welcomed him back with open arms a couple of years ago. That's all I'm saying.
If you could see me, I'd be raising my hand right now. I'm guilty of that.
This is another game, and this is the final game. It's SEC Saturday night, 6:30, Kroger Field, South Carolina at Kentucky. Kentucky only a 6-point favorite. Vegas does not like Kentucky.
Like personally?
They are not convinced. Vegas is asking the question that you were asking a little bit ago, Justin. Are they good?
Are they good?
Gotcha.
And nobody really knows at this point. I mean, they nailed the Miami, Ohio. They nailed the Northern Illinois line. They gave them points at Ole Miss. They were an underdog at Ole Miss. Now they covered the 6 points, but barely. I mean, it was a 3-point ball game or 4-point ball game, something like that.
Right.
So Vegas doesn't like this team for some reason. If they think that South Carolina is only going to lose by a touchdown, man, I don't know.
Are we leaving that one alone as well?
Yeah, it really strikes me as another one that I just would not mess with if I were not forced to.
Because I think Kentucky's going to be mad, but I don't know if we're too afraid of Kentucky being mad.
Well,
exactly. I don't know what Kentucky being mad means necessarily.
Right. So there are certain times, and you'll hear gamblers talk about this all the time. Is there are times when Vegas will put a line out there that you just go, "Oh my God, this is." And Ron Higg actually alluded to it earlier. You know, you go, "Well, this isn't easy. I got this."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
every time I
don't. That's why I went with Ole Miss last week. I took Ole Miss to cover the 6 points because I thought clearly they know something that I don't, and they nearly did, but they did win the game. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to me, it almost makes you want to take South Carolina just because what is it that Vegas knows?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Certainly a good question.
I mean,
do you think there's and this is probably a stupid question, but I just picture a person in Vegas, like there's an office with a guy in it, and they run upstairs and they're like, "What should the spread be today?" And he's like, 6.5. And then he gets it right every single time. But I'm sure a computer doesn't, but that wouldn't it be funny?
It would not be funny. Because I would be very mad at that guy.
Yeah, exactly, because he's always right.
Yeah.
I hate that guy. No, so yeah, that's the SEC this weekend. Several great games. Going to be a fantastic weekend. I'm looking forward to it very much. So every week is fun in the SEC.
Yep.
And Will Levis is not going to be the number 1 overall pick. He's not even going to be the first pick. He's not even going to be the first quarterback chosen in the NFL draft. So
it's going to be Rattler.
Y'all need this guy. Yeah. So anyway, let's take a quick break. And when we get back, we will talk about the Titans. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back to Main Street Sports, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here on this. There he is on this.
Did you miss me?
Friday edition. I did. Always do. Wearing your Middle Tennessee State gear as they get ready for their trip to UAB tomorrow.
UAB.
That's right. Now that Ooey Pooey is gone.
They've not taken down all the signs in Indianapolis, though. Trust me, we went through there the other night. Still saw ooey pooey signs. So yeah,
that's good news. I'm glad to hear that. Looking ahead to this weekend, obviously we just talked about the SEC, but Tennessee Titans also get a chance to play the Washington Commanders, and the good news is it can't be worse than last night, so that's a positive.
See, that's a famous last words kind of thing, man. That's what concerns me.
Well, I guess.
What's that? Famous last words for what?
That game last night was a disaster at every turn, apparently. Fortunately, I couldn't get it. So
I think it might be Russell Wilson, guys, and I hate to say that. I really do hate to say that.
We said that yesterday. We thought, what's going on? But, after watching the games, look, neither team had an offensive line worth of crap. I mean,
right.
The Colts completely switched up their offensive line. They put a rookie at right tackle, put their right tackle at left tackle, moved their left tackle into left guard. And and then of course you didn't have JT. So, they had no run game to really speak of. And Matt Ryan obviously didn't play well, and everybody puts it on Ryan, but yet nobody realizes that, again, you can't be a quarterback in the National Football League without protection and at least some semblance of a run game. And they had neither of those last night. And he still was able to get them into field goal range 4 times.
I feel so bad for Matt Ryan, man. I don't know. This is not a statistic that I know as a fact, but he's got to be up there with the most 300 yards or like the most games where he passes for 300 yards and they lose. He always passes so many yards and they always end up losing.
Well, that's because they're usually behind and he's throwing late in ball games.
So, true. Yeah. I just feel bad for the guy.
But the Broncos came in with like scoring 30% of the time in red zone.
Ooh.
And kicked 3 more field goals last night in the red zone.
That's ugly.
That's brutal. And
30% red zone conversions. That's not winning football.
You can't win in the National Football League doing that. And I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. I really just don't. So yeah. Anyway, I'm hoping that Sunday certainly does not. I hope one team plays that poorly, and I hope not the team.
I think they're capable. Yeah, I think the Commanders are capable. They come in here 1-3, and I'm trying to figure out who it is that they beat. But
I can tell you that this team is 100%.
Oh, wait a minute! Stop! Because it looks like their one win was over Jacksonville.
So it was.
Was it the first week?
No, I don't think it was week 1.
I think it was.
It might have been. No, Jacksonville won week. No, they didn't. They did. They lost in week 1 too. That's right. It was week 1 because after week 1, the Texans and Colts were tied for the lead with a tie.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep, the Commanders beat the Jaguars in Washington 28-22 to open the season. They've since lost to the Lions in Detroit, Philadelphia at home, and the Cowboys last week in Dallas. So
My thing is the classic. Anytime the Titans are supposed to win a game, they do not. Anytime they're not supposed to win a game, they do. So I just don't have an opinion on if we're going to win this week. As if I play for them or am I part of their organization. But I just don't know. I just really don't know because I just don't know. We do well against Carson Wentz though, which is historically a fun thing.
That's true. The Titans have the 29th best or third worst offense in the National Football League.
Right. 7 points in the second half all year.
They have the 26th ranked defense. Tied for 28th in pass defense because, fact is they can't stop anybody because they're playing a bunch of guys who've never played in the league before.
they're really beating up in the secondary.
They are.
Really.
They're hurt.
It's funny too. I think we're still pretty high in the power rankings. I believe like top 15. I think. Well, which means nothing.
I think the reason for that is because of what Derrick Henry did last week. He's coming off a 100-yard game, and
sure,
I think that's the most important. Obviously, Derrick Henry against this defense is probably the key matchup, right?
Sure.
We would hope it. We would hope it would be for every game, but yeah.
There's no more important player for the Titans than Derrick Henry, and if he's got to be able to get the ball 20 times because if he's getting the ball 20 times, the Titans are probably ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Yeah, and that's the key. I mean, ball control. Keep this beaten up defense and this beaten up defensive secondary off the field, and if you can do that and control the ball, control the clock, that's the way Tennessee wants to play under most circumstances, but certainly right now.
Definitely. I think in the strike first thing, which I think is talked about quite a bit for the Titans as far as our offense, we got to get on the board. The Titans need to get on the board quickly. Like they need to score first. I have found, and I've also, have heard that once we get that first score on and they have to play catch up, the opposing team usually turns out well for us.
Well, right now, the Titans injury report includes Adna, Burks, Cunningham, Dupree, and Amani Hooker. And all of those out.
What's wrong with Amani?
Amani Hooker has he's in concussion protocol.
Oh man, that's my favorite player. That sucks.
Yeah.
Why does it not surprise me?
That dude hits. Being at the game and hearing him tackle somebody, it just sounds like murder.
But the positive is that last week those linebackers played really, really well. I thought you got a great game out of David Long and out of Dylan Cole.
Yeah, Dylan Cole continues to come on and he continues to show up. He got a hand on that ball and on that 2-point conversion try against the Raiders to help put that game away. And he's just continuing to show up. They're continuing to put him in some key situations as much as anything because they have to. But he's continuing to make plays when he is in those positions. So yeah, that's been a lift.
He had a great preseason too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He was one of those standouts, and I agree. He's been showing up when he needs to, and we need him to. That's for sure.
You got to have him. I mean, when you're talking about Adonai and Cunningham both being out, and Bud Dupree out. I mean, I don't know outside of Jeffrey Simmons how you expect to get a pass rush on Sunday.
Right. Danico. Autry's
got to be. He's got to be your guy.
Definitely.
But you only have two. You only have those two guys. I mean, that are consistently good pass rushers.
Correct.
And if that's the case, you'd think a team would be able to block them. No?
Right. Like if they just had two to worry about, I would assume so.
You'd think if you've got five to figure out how to block three or four. Other than that, I mean, unless the Titans just drop some exotic blitzes or something.
I mean, take a look at Jacksonville's blitzes. They are crazy with their blitz.
The problem with blitzing, if you're the Titans, is you leave guys out on an island who can't really be out on an island, and if you don't get home, you're done for.
You got problems. Yep. So
that's there's the dilemma the Titans are facing right now. They have a limited pass rush. They have a very banged up secondary, and those two things are not a good combination. Now, luckily, they've played the Colts and they get the Commanders this week, and they get the Colts again next week. So you've got a stretch of games here against teams that just aren't very good. So at least you give yourself a chance to win because the competition is at least, somewhat similar.
right.
And it appears the Raiders aren't any good either. You just beat them. So I don't know, man. That's where we sit. But
tough part of the first part of the schedule is pretty bad. So I am kind of looking forward to these next few games.
Oh, this next run is not. I mean, it's again after the Colts, and then you get the Texans. Then it's Kansas City, Denver. Woohoo!
That's true.
Green Bay, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, and apparently Jacksonville's pretty darn good. So
that'll be a game on it. Jacksonville Titans.
Right now, Kansas City and Green Bay and maybe Cincinnati seem to be the toughest teams, that you have. And the best thing that could happen is Green Bay is on a short week, Mo.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
I don't think
so.
Aaron Rodgers.
And then the Bengals, since the Green Bay's on a short week, the Bengals are on a long week, and we know what Mike Vrabel's able to do on 10 days
with extra time. Yep. So
okay. There you go. All right, let's take a short break here. When we come back, we make our picks. So stick around. Presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back after this. This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
Other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Once again, from preps to pros, we got you covered all week long from 2 to 3:30 each and every week. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're live at 2 o'clock each and every day. Appreciate you guys being with us, and we hope that you will come back on Monday when we react to all of the events that happen over the weekend, from college football, pros, high school, and everything else here in Middle Tennessee. We'll get to all of it on Monday. Also, Mo, in Major League Baseball action right now, earlier today, the Tampa Bay Rays fell to the Cleveland Guardians 2-1 on a 2-run home run from Ramirez, and that was unfortunate, at least for me.
Did you have money on that? Or
no, I just thought that I picked the Rays to.
You did pick the Rays.
to upset Cleveland, and the solo home run from Siri. I thought, all right, here we go. And then the bottom half of that inning, 2-run jack from Ramirez. I was like, well, crap.
Well, at least you didn't lose anything but pride.
There you go. Phillies and St. Louis tied 0-0 in the middle of the 7th inning with the Cardinals coming to bat. Seattle and Toronto just got started there in the top of the 1st. So, and
we'll get to watch at 8:07, which I guess is 7:07 Central Time.
You mean you? I certainly will not be able to.
You won't be able to watch. That's right. You'll be at a better game.
We'll live text you.
The Padres and Mets are in game 1 of that other National League wild card series later tonight, and I'm going to take great joy in knowing that the Mets are playing in a wild card game while our team is waiting till that round.
Patiently awaiting someone on Monday.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We'll get back to Braves as well. But before we, since we don't have a Braves segment today, we're going to start this segment with this day in Braves history because we have no other place to put it. So we will take our time machine back as Justin doesn't have the Missy Elliott sound effect.
Yep.
Yeah, we're
there
gonna,
you go.
We're going to resume this day in Braves history since we missed it yesterday, October 7th, 2018. In the first playoff game at SunTrust Park, Atlanta avoided postseason elimination with a 6-5 win in Game 3 of the NLDS against the Dodgers. Rookie Ronald Acuna Jr.'s grand slam off Walker Buehler keyed a 5-run second inning for the Braves, their first runs of the series after back-to-back shutout losses in L.A. Visitors tied the game with 2 runs in the 3rd and 3 in the 5th before the potential go-ahead run was thrown out at the plate in the 6th. Freddie Freeman, remember him? Hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 6th off Alex Wood to put the Braves ahead for good, with Arodys Vizcaíno striking out the side to squelch a 2-on, none-out threat for the save. So.
Sorry, Freddie was playing with the Braves and Wood was playing with the Dodgers, and that's confusing.
Yeah, because both of them, well, Wood was a former Brave at the time, and Freeman is now a former Brave.
With the Dodgers.
With the Dodgers.
All right, let's take a look at last week's results, Mo. Tough week for me.
If you really want to do that.
Tough week. Hey,
yeah,
so bad with the good.
No goose egg, right?
So last week, Chris's only hit was picking UCF to cover 3.5 at home against Southern Methodist. Chris went 1-9.
Okay.
I went 3-7. I got UCF. Also got K-State, a 7.5-point favorite against Texas Tech. K-State won 37-28. UCF won 41-19. And I got Iowa, 15.5-point dog at home against Michigan. They only lost by 13. So again, Chris was 1-9 last week. I was 3-7 last week, and apparently big money Justin Kulik went 5-5 last week. So
500, baby. That's great. Okay, all right. I'll take it.
So for the season now, I'm 29-21, and Chris is 28-22. So
okay,
kind of wallowing in mediocrity here against the spread. It is what it is. So
what was your record, Mo? You said
I'm 29-21 for the year. Chris is 28-22. And since you just started, you're only 5-5. Oh, gotcha. Last week I was 3-7. Chris was 1-9.
I see.
Yeah. So there. What you got this week, y'all?
I don't think that we should keep our head down on this.
That can't be right.
That can't be right.
So.
Well, that's why I sent this to you before the show, so that if there was any discrepancies, you could point those out.
All of us have one fewer loss because there were only 9 games played last week. The Sunday game got postponed. USF and whoever it was got postponed.
USF or UCF?
USF. UCF won, but the game that was supposed to be on Sunday got postponed.
I don't think we picked a game that was supposed to be on Sunday.
Well, I'm 31-17 in the pick 'em on.
Who is you?
ESPN.
Who was USF supposed to have played?
Well, I got to trying to go back to last week. I don't know how to do that. There we go. Hang on. They were supposed to play SMU UCF. That's right.
So SMU and UCF did not play?
Did not play.
Why didn't they play?
It must have been an Ian.
It was a Hurricane Ian thing.
Okay, so the score that I picked up between them must have been from last year then. Okay, so then you are 0-9. And I'm 2-7.
There you go.
Okay,
Hey,
but
that's
Justin is
integrity
only Justin is 5-4.
Hey, back on a winning record. I don't know how I'd be able to catch up, but I do like that record.
Yeah, I was 4-5 last week on ESPN. I say the formula is what we're calling it.
The process,
The formula was not great. All right, so quickly here, we start with the Red River Rivalry, and we'll go 11 a.m. Fox. Texas is a 5.5-point favorite over Oklahoma. I'm going Oklahoma here.
We're going to have to teach you how to spell Oklahoma.
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 Oklahoma. Yeah, got that extra syllable in there.
Listen, you got to remember, I'm doing this as quick as I can. Of course, it's covering your face up, so I don't know that we need to bring them up anymore.
That's okay. I'm going Oklahoma as well. I just don't think they can be that bad for that long. So, and I'm still not sold on Texas. I take it that those are horns, Justin.
Yes, is that what it is? Is this it? Just it?
Yeah. I think that's it. Hook 'em horns. Yeah.
This one looks more official over my sausage fingers, but
there you go.
Horns up.
TCU at Kansas, college game day. Rob Riggle, the guest picker. That should be fun. 11 a.m. on FS1. Unfortunately, they don't even get Big Fox thanks to the Red River Rivalry. But TCU 5.5 points favored against the home team Kansas Jayhawks, a home dog. Mo.
Yeah,
they're a football school now, aren't they?
Man, that is screaming at me. That's screaming Kansas, man. But I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid either. I'm going to go TCU.
Just because, or sorry, Chris, do you want to go ahead?
No, it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay, I can't get away from TCU as well, just because of how many points they've been scoring when they win, or just when they play. They've been putting up numbers. So I'm going to go TCU as well.
I've got the Horned Frogs as well.
All right. Hey, we sink or we swim together.
There you go. All right.
Chris, you put a lot of time into those graphics. If they're spelled correctly, feel free to go ahead and put them up.
Yeah, here, wait.
Clearly did not put enough time into it.
You do this.
There you go.
Boom.
There we go. Boom. Look at there.
Gotta love the Jayhawk.
South Florida, and there's no line on this one. Of course not.
There's no line as in that they don't have one on.
No, there is one.
No, as in he forgot it.
Saturday, 1:30, ESPN Plus, South Florida at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, 27.5.
Wow.
You know, Chris, we were looking at that coacheshotseat.com website earlier this week, and Jeff Scott at USF leads the pack.
Deservedly or not.
And losing games or going into games as a 27.5 point dog probably contributes to that. I'm taking Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, what's the record? I know I know this is kind of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire
with Arkansas.
Say again, sorry.
4-1. They're on the
yeah.
I'm gonna go Cincy as well. I think they're gonna pull through.
I'm taking the Bulls. Doubles.
What's next?
That's really fun to do. Dapples.
Well, this next one,
Oh,
Auburn at number 2, Georgia. Georgia 29.5 points on CBS, 2:30 kick.
The tune-up game on Longest Yard.
Between the hedges.
This is a Georgia tune-up game. They're going to go face the guards, with the guards being Auburn. No, but I know
Who you got?
I know the jail people. Sorry, the people in prison ended up beating the guards, but I think Georgia's going to cover 40 points on Auburn. So I'm going to go with Georgia.
yeah.
I agree. I got the Bulldogs in this one.
Yeah, I think Auburn is even as Nubias Wilburn pointed out to us a couple of weeks ago, they are what 3-1, 3-2 now.
3-2 now.
Right?
Should be 4-1
now.
They should have beaten LSU last week.
But,
Are you talking about Auburn?
Yeah, Auburn absolutely should have beaten LSU last week, but
Right.
they didn't. So shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't.
Do you think that coach gets? Do you think the coach gets fired after? Okay, depending on how bad the loss is against Georgia.
No, not after this one.
If they were going to fire him, they'd already done it. And they're not going to do it after losing to number 2 Georgia.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Oklahoma State at home, 9.5 point favorites against Texas Tech. It's a 2:30 kick, and this one is on FS1 right after that TCU Kansas game. I am going to shock the world here. Red Raiders, guns up.
Guns up.
So that's Texas Tech, right?
It is.
I'm gonna gig them as well. I think
No, gig 'em? No, Texas A&M is gig 'em.
No.
Oh, what's
They're guns up.
what if Pat Mahomes tweeted something? Horns down. Okay, that's what it was because they played Texas. I'm gonna go Texas Tech as well.
I'm going Oklahoma State.
It's hard to bet against Oklahoma State though.
Yeah, they just roll along, stay under the radar, and just keep beating people.
That's true.
I'm taking the Pokes.
Fair point.
Number 3, Ohio State at Michigan State. Michigan State is definitely not a 25.5 point favorite. They are definitely a 25.5 point dog. 3 o'clock ABC. I mean,
does it need to be discussed?
It's hard not to take Ohio State here for sure, right?
25.
It's hard to be. If they don't cover, it'll be because they decided not to. And I don't think that'll be the case. I'm taking Ohio State.
Right. It would be insane to look at a score sheet or some sort of betting app and then pick Michigan State over even to cover. So I'm going to go Ohio State as well.
Which is why the process is taking Spartans.
The process is spoken.
The process. All right. Going against the grain today. I like it.
Okay.
Kansas. I'm taking Ohio State. The process is taking. I'm taking Ohio State.
Okay, you picked me out there. My bad.
No, I've got the Bucks. Yeah, for
right.
sure. Kansas State, number 20 at Iowa State. Kansas State only 2.5 points here. Home dogs again, Mo.
I know my pick.
This one hurts. This is a tough call, man, because I'm just not sure how good Iowa State is.
They breed linemen.
They do, but they've relative to Matt Campbell's stay in Ames, Iowa State has struggled a little bit this year, and Kansas State's really on a little bit of a roll. I'm going to go with the Wildcats.
You know what? I think you just convinced me. I'm also going to go with K-State.
You and 77% of the others. I, too, am among those and going K-State.
Did we all just pick the same picks each time?
We did. Not every time.
All right.
Not every time.
Oh, okay.
Washington State at USC, 11.5 point favorites on Fox, 6:30. Big game here, number 6 USC.
Ooh. Upset alert.
I hate Pac-12 football.
You can
Because it's impossible. You just don't know.
I just think of all of the conferences, all of the major conferences, I think their games are the hardest to predict. I'm going to take USC to cover, but this is another game that if I weren't forced to pick it on this show, I would not.
Right. Go ahead, Chris.
I am going to go with USC. I think that you just have too much firepower.
I'm gonna go Washington State because I think and I hope that whoever is making these spreads is having just as hard of a time picking
as we are.
We are because we have no idea. But so I'm gonna go Washington State. 11.5 doesn't seem like too crazy of a differential. So Washington State, based on no football knowledge at all. Dub State.
Wazoo, they say. All right, now you can say gig 'em. Texas A&M at number 1 Alabama, only 24.5 for the Tide.
Gig 'em. No, I'm just joking. I'm going Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to say.
Yeah, I just think, regardless of what the quarterback situation is at Alabama, I think right now it's better than the quarterback situation at A&M.
Right.
I think Alabama covers. This might be a 4-touchdown game by the time it's over.
And then Alabama or Nick Saban and having a brain part here.
Jimbo.
They have beef, right?
They do have beef.
So yeah, Nick Saban's going to unleash.
That's the thing is Nick Saban will act like he don't care, and then he'll put it up on the scoreboard for you to see it.
And then he'll shake your hand afterwards.
If he gets beat by 4 touchdowns, does Jimbo get fired?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
Well,
ooh, that's a great question, man. That's a good question.
Again,
I know there's 95 million reasons not to fire him.
But again, in Texas more than anywhere else, if money is the problem, ain't no problem. So
that's true. And you could, they could easily find, I'm not sure candidates off the top of my head, but that job would be filled by someone else very quickly.
Chris, are you taking Alabama as well?
I'm taking the Tide. Okay. I didn't do it last week because I was I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
No Kool-Aid this week.
The red Kool-Aid. Yeah.
The only thing we can hope on if we were to take Texas A&M is if Nick Saban gets ejected for punching Jimbo Fisher.
That would be phenomenal.
That would
be way better.
Yeah, I'd lose money for that.
Oregon at Arizona. Arizona 11.5-point dogs. Pac-12 Network 8 o'clock. Pac-12 after dark, which means you never know.
Mm-hmm.
And the group.
I just don't think Arizona has the firepower to stay with Oregon. I'm going to take the Ducks. Quack, quack.
I'm going Arizona because it's Pac-12 after dark, and that's the only reason. I think Oregon should win by more than 11.5, but I don't think they will because it's Pac-12 after dark, and who knows?
You know what, Chris? That's a very good point. I'm gonna also go Arizona because I think Oregon finds a way to score really quickly and easily, but they also find a way to somehow mess it up even quicker. So
yeah, because that's what Bo Nix does.
Bo Nix is still in college. Can you believe that? He is still in college.
I covered him in high school.
It's insane.
I also covered Zach Cunningham in high school, Justin. So
that's cool.
There's that. They went to the same high school, just not at the same time.
Love
That's going to do it for this edition of Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Follow me tonight at Chris Yao 14. I'll be at Columbia Central and Giles County. Should be a good one. We got you covered from preps to pros and everywhere in between. Folks, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll be back on Monday, Reaction Monday, coming at you 2 o'clock live on Main Street Media TV. Justin Kulik on the controls. I'm Chris Yao. Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
See y'all.